bias. The assumptions we make, the perspectives we carry, and how they shape the way we see other people and the world around us. But instead of trying to point fingers or say what's right or wrong, this space is about slowing things down, about having honest conversations, sharing real experiences, and trying to understand what lies beneath those first impressions. So whether you're here to reflect, to challenge your own perspective, or just to listen, you are welcome here. This is Beneath Bias, unveiling one story at a time.
Hello, welcome to this episode of Beneath Bias. Today we're going to talk about AI and the psychological impact on youth. This week we don't have an expert because everyone's on holiday, but Marianna and I did some research. So welcome, Marianna. What are we going to talk about today?
Hello, so happy to be just the two of us and having a little conversation. But I want to start with our concept to bring the audience inside what we talked about before. Imagine this. You're a teenager trying to write an essay, understand your emotion, break up with your boyfriend, make a quick decision, and you decide to open an AI tool. It answers instantly, it helps you write this essay, it explains your homework, it gives you the advice for your boyfriend, it listens without judgment. So it understands you, you feel like it understands you. But what happens when a tool that is designed to respond begins to shape the way we think, the way you think? What happens when young people turn to AI, not only for information, but for confidence, for comfort, to shape their creativity or connection to others? Welcome to Beneath Bias. Today, we're exploring AI and the psychological impacts on youth. How AI tools may be reshaping the way young people think, write, learn, socialize, and understand themselves. AI is already becoming part of our daily lives. We all know that. If AI helps us with our writing, do we eventually practice writing? If it gives us the quick answer, do we question after all? If AI listens to us, do we turn away from people?
Yeah, that's very deep questions. Questions that I would never think I would be talking about like 5 years ago, maybe. So that's kind of crazy, a lot of things to answer, and we might not have the answer. But yeah, how do you use AI, Marianna? Let's talk about that.
I was thinking about it because I was sure that you're going to ask. So what my answer could be? I mean, I'm doing my master program, and the one thing I struggle a lot is with my grammar. A lot of our listeners may have noticed. So I have a bad English grammar. But what I do in order to not be scared and feel comfortable is I put the essay very often and making or asking him to point out my mistakes. So I always go back and correct. But this is what I do in every assignment. If you see my questions on chat, is always correct my grammar.
Okay. Yeah, before going on how I use AI, I want to note something very interesting, and I think that it's the day to talk about it. It's how we see, like, which gender do we associate with Gemini or ChatGPT or like generative AI? Because you just said him.
Yeah.
I also would say him, but I've asked my friends because I was curious about it, and it's crazy because most of the men say that ChatGPT is a her, she, her, while most of women say it's a he, him. So I don't know what it means. I just wanted to point it out. But anyways, how I use AI. When I was studying, I also used it a lot for like maybe some grammar questions or even like not to find resources of research, but to know where to look, maybe, to know which theories were existing so I could go deeper into some research and maybe sometimes to do summaries. So it's very risky because when you have a tool that can do everything for you, you start asking a lot of questions and you start using it for everything.
It's addictive.
Sort of, yeah. Or like, I don't know if it's addictive, but at least it's super comfortable. So nowadays, I use it sometimes. Maybe I wouldn't say to ask for life advice, but sometimes to ask for some like psychological answers because I'm a person who's scared of many things.
Mhm.
And when I'm scared of something, I put this scenario to ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT would tell me like, yeah, you can calm down, whatever. And I'm a bit ashamed for using it this way.
But so many people are doing the same.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not sure because maybe people don't really talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, if they're ashamed, maybe as you felt, of course, it's not something that you can confront very easily, that you're using it for that reason.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, beyond our experiences with ChatGPT and our like little homemade research that we've done, asking our friends what they do, we also have some real research today to know the psychological impacts of AI. So Marianna, have you found something interesting?
Yeah, I found a lot of interesting things. I mean, it's very new, so the research it started like 4 years ago, so it's still ongoing. The most important thing that I want to clarify that it has not yet been defined like that there is a long-term neuroscience evidence that generative AI destroys our brains in some way. There is no proof of that. Of course, it's still developing, and there are some small effects that scientists have noticed so far, but it's not a solid result. I just wanted to clarify that for our listeners, to not be afraid.
Yeah,
This is what I've learned from the papers I've read, is to create our own rules how to use it properly for ourselves in order to not be scared that we are doing something wrong. Because at some point I was thinking, we have as people the biggest bias that we are dying at some point, but we are not thinking about it. We live our life perfectly. So we are being biased about it. We are not thinking that something will end or something is scary. We ignore it. And I feel like this is coming with ChatGPT or Gemini. It's kind of the same. We don't see that it could be dangerous or it could end badly, and we rely on the now, today I have this question, let's ask this because it's comfortable and easy.
Yeah, like the cost benefit, like when you have a benefit which is like right now.
Yeah.
And the cost of it or like the consequences are so far away, we just don't think about them. And that's why we have so many problems nowadays, because society goes super fast. But the problems of using a lot of resources or using some sort of things or eating whatever food is not like right now. It's in the long term. So we just ignore it, I guess. I've read about it sometimes, and it's crazy like how we just ignore the apocalypse is, I know that's maybe too exaggerated, but we ignore the problems we'll have maybe in 10 years just because now it's super easy and comfortable to do something. But yeah, so I got you here, but which psychological impacts have been found so far that AI has on young people?
So adolescence, which is from 10 years old to 25, is the period that you develop your decisions, like your frontal lobe is still developing. So if we use the AI now at 24, let's say, to make my decision, it's like I'm destroying a moment when I was 10 and I couldn't solve a puzzle. And I was saying, oh, I cannot do it, and it's so hard. And of course, it has like, I don't know, 20 pieces. And my mother is looking at me and not solving it for me, you know? She's trying to give me a lesson to do it myself, to prove myself that I can do it. Because the feeling of success, it doesn't come from being successful already. It comes from a difficult time, you know, struggling. So if you ask a question that you don't need, that you can learn on your own, you can do the research from it, and you rely on AI just to give you that quick answer and have this shortcut, it's like destroying this learning moment you had in the past.
Super interesting.
It is.
Wow.
And I think because I've read it, I was thinking, oh my God, I've asked so many questions that I didn't need to ask. I could just spend 5 minutes more and trying to find it myself. Of course, it's a shortcut and we're relying on the comfort and being a quick answer, but is that life? What is it about?
Yeah, I mean, that's true that sometimes we just bomb a lot of questions, even like some puzzles that we might encounter during life, not only about decision making in like very deep moments of like something like that, but also about whether I should eat rice or pasta, whether it's cheaper this supermarket or the other, or I don't know, these kind of things that you can find out by yourself and do like a literal adventure to find out, but you just ask ChatGPT. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I think it's the small things that we can avoid. Of course, it helps our work to be quicker or get better. Or of course, we can learn from it. I don't doubt that. I'm not saying that is bad, but I'm saying that it could be bad on overuse.
Yeah.
And I want to point out that adolescents are more likely than adults to question the accuracy and the intent of information that is offered. So maybe this is how the gender came up. You know, they feel like they're talking to a person that knows everything, you know. Maybe they're imagining it as a person that is maybe a little god in the computer that knows everything, and this is correct. But it's important to question, like, let's say ChatGPT, I have it in front of me, is designed by a person. Let's say a person, but it's a team, and it continues to develop. But it's still designed by a group of people who have biases, who are wrong sometimes, or they don't have the right inputs or all the inputs.
Yeah. I actually want to talk about a paper that I found, which is about the bias in generative AI. Because before doing this, like before searching for research, I've heard around in the news and stuff like that ChatGPT or like Gemini, it's an old white man. And this is sad because it's trained by people in the global north who are oftentimes men, oftentimes old because they have experience. So if you ask ChatGPT about many things, there will be this bias of like a Western perspective. And then, I wanted to know more about it. And I found this research about bias in generative AI by Mi Zhou. And they made like this experiment where they asked ChatGPT to produce some occupational images, so images of people working in the US. And they found out that there's a misrepresentation of Black women. Most of the people who were in the pictures were men and they were white. There were, of course, some women as well. Most of them, they were white. And it was interesting because while the men were more represented by being serious, with a neutral face and well-dressed, or like with a suit, the women were represented laughing or with a smile or in a more friendly way. So what this does is that it perpetuates like the stereotypes that are in society. I mean, maybe it is a mirror of society in a way, or like of the inequalities that are in society, but still, when you are using AI so much, and when you're only relying on it for as your source of information, you are only seeing one part of the picture. You are only seeing these white, serious, neutral men as successful, while you are seeing kind women who have less important jobs. So I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was very interesting.
No, it's very important to say it because now, of course, I expected it, but hearing it, it made me realize that I should check it even more each time. I should not form my thoughts or what I see based on what it gives me as a output.
Yeah, or maybe just useless. AI.
You can save water, actually.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk about it in another episode. Don't worry, guys. Okay, but about the psychological effects, we had this thing of like that people don't solve puzzles anymore. Is there something else that you found interesting?
It is very interesting that a lot of people are using it. First of all, I didn't have a number in my mind, but a national survey happened in the US on youth, where 42 million people answered it, and around 20% of them answered that they used AI chatbots in their daily lives. That involves making decisions, writing an essay on whatever. So it's a problem of today and it involves everyone. Also parents, if they're listening to us, and youngsters that they're using it for something that they're not supposed to. They're supposed to discover it on their daily lives. And the thing is that it decreases what we said. It comes to the conclusion that it decreases the offload thinking tasks we should have.
What are the offload thinking tasks?
It's like I imagine my brain as a programming language. I have to give him some tasks to train it. You know, when I grow up, and I will have to be at a point to make smart decisions for me, for my life, that are important, and they're gonna have consequences in my tomorrow. I will have this period of adolescence that I will have to train my brain to do so. Because of course after 18 you become an adult, but after 25 you're mature enough to make the tough ones. So are we changing the way we grow up by having AI in our daily lives and taking such a big part of it? Like, are we changing our evolution? This feels so scary, because one day I will want to have children. How would I protect them from it? Or what advice could I give them to use it? Or what is it to what they have to face?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I feel now it feels super new for us, because it is. And it feels that technology goes faster than laws, as we talked in our, I think, second episode about wars and AI. Or like technology goes faster than us acknowledging the changes. So perhaps in a few years we manage on how to limit ourselves, or how to limit AI, or on how to limit other technology, as we did with, I don't know, TV and maybe phones, not so much. But I guess when new things were invented, they had a boom in the beginning, and people were scared of this change. But sometimes, or like at some point, the humanity learns how to cohabitate with the new things. So yeah, I guess it won't be a problem for our children to use AI, or maybe, I don't know, maybe something's changed a lot. So, but what I take from what you said is that basically when you use AI as an adolescent, when you need to take like small decisions or learn how to train your brain, you are not doing it anymore, right? So now when you are 25 and you've been using AI for many years, there are some decisions that you are not capable to make, or at least optimally. Is that what you were sort of saying?
Yeah, of course you're capable. You will do it, but maybe you don't feel confident enough to do so. The conclusion of what I said is that AI may not make young people less intelligent, but over-reliance could reduce how often they practice independent thinking by themselves. And independent thinking is very important for a person's confidence.
Yeah, that's true. And I think this leads us to the social issues, right? Because using ChatGPT not only has psychological issues, but also social ones that they might be very tied to our psychology. So actually, I also found research on how AI is used in psychology, so in itself, and how AI is sometimes replacing psychologists or therapists. And I thought that was interesting. It's a research from Salah et al. From ASU University in Oman. And they say that the generative AI is changing the ways we diagnose, we treat some psychological issues, because it's more oftentimes used in therapy. And when AI is used in therapy, like it can be used by therapists, it can also be used by individuals that just are looking for answers on their psychological issues, right? But they point out that there are some benefits, because there's faster diagnosis, there's like more effective treatment sometimes, because you remove this like bias part of like being a therapist and having to face someone as a person, right? So let's say generative AI doesn't have this issue of talking to you. So then everything is more straightforward, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
However, they found out that there is like a very, very negative effect, which is the despersonalization of the therapy. Because it means that ChatGPT or whatever AI you are using doesn't know you as a person, doesn't know your nonverbal language.
Exactly.
You like in the end they know what you tell them, like as any psychologist, but they cannot see you. So the answers that ChatGPT will give you will be probably the same ones that it will give me. So there's this risk of personalization of therapy. And yeah, whatever works for me maybe doesn't work for you, but ChatGPT doesn't contemplate that. So it's pretty dangerous to use AI as your psychologist, as an individual, because you are overlooking a wide range of factors that your psychologist needs to know before they can diagnose you or give you some treatments or help you with anything, like guide you. So yeah, I just wanted to say this because it's also very important to know which are the limits of AI.
That is a good pass. Maybe we can ask ChatGPT what are the impacts he observes on youth by using it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's interesting because it's like criticizing himself or herself, right? Let's say what ChatGPT says, like if it contemplates all the problems we've talked about.
Okay.
So what did you ask?
I asked, what do you think are the psychological impacts on youth of using generative AI? And the shorter answer that I got was that generative AI can help youth learn, create, and reflect, but it may also cause over-reliance, misinformation, loneliness, or weaker independent thinking. We were correct so far. Or were we? It is healthiest when used as a tool, not a therapist, friend, or authority.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair.
I mean, funny that ChatGPT will have our takeaway answer of the day.
But here's the thing, I can agree to that, but I can also disagree.
Yeah, we don't have to take for granted the answer that one generative AI is giving to us. That's for sure. We also need to think about, okay, is this true? Do I take it? Do I take just one part of it? And before saying bye-bye and before letting you guys reflect on our thoughts today, we also had some little research that we made from our social media. We asked some questions about how our followers use AI, and we want to discuss them. So first of all, we asked our followers if they've ever asked AI for life advice. So there was a 67% that said yes, and a 33% that said no. So most of the people do.
Yeah, I've done it. I was curious to see if my decision would be the same.
Yeah. And then we also asked, why AI over a person? Why would you use AI to ask for life advice? So the 20% say that AI doesn't judge them.
Fair.
Yeah. 50% said that it's always available. And I think that would be my answer. I don't want to annoy my friends sometimes. So I would just rather use ChatGPT.
Yeah, but what are friends for, you know?
Yeah, that's true. But
And also they're there to judge you. You need the judgment to form, not to put you in a corner and point you with the finger.
Yeah.
But to discuss your decisions, okay, why you decided to break up with your boyfriend. Don't go to the person that will always agree with what you said, because AI, every time it says, oh, what a great idea, I agree with you. Notice it, every time it starts with that. So
it's true. You're always the best.
Yeah,
according to AI. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, guys, ask more your friends about anything. And then there were some people that also said that they would never use AI to ask for life advice. That's around a 30%, so it makes sense. And then we asked a more elaborate question, which is, what's the deepest thing you've asked AI?
This is very interesting.
Yeah. So one of our followers said, I've asked him, it's a him, how the reaction of a person can be interpreted.
Well, I can see that where it comes from, but I don't know, how can you rely to a tool that is a tool? Maybe we misunderstood it as an actor as well, but it's a tool that does not have emotions. How is it capable to explain?
I mean, I guess it works in a way because it can make the most rational answer. It can give you the rational answer. But guys, we don't judge. It's okay.
We listen and we don't judge.
Exactly. Then the second follower said, what should I do with my boyfriend after an argument? Oh, that's also a deep one.
Yeah, you can do it for fun to see what it could say, but
Yeah, after an argument, I don't think there's fun. But
no,
still.
yeah. But on an argument, I mean, it says two people in this argument. Why it should be the laptop in between, and that's what I'm talking about. This is the social impact.
Yeah, definitely.
People have to communicate with each other. This is what we have to work on, not to isolate ourselves to our keyboard,
Yeah,
typing what the situation was.
yeah, I get it. But we listen and we don't judge.
Exactly.
And then there's someone else who said nothing deep or personal, only technical stuff. Fair enough. And the last one we chose says that they asked about gifts for my people. Not deep, but very important for me. So looking for new ideas. I get it. Sometimes we run out of creativity. We should work more on our creativity. But yeah, that's what we got so far.
But it's creativity can start from everywhere. It can start from talking with generative AI. You can look outside the window. You can find creativity, but not let it form your creativity.
Yeah. I think that's a good message. So, guys, as we said, we are not experts, but what we take from the research we did and what we take from the answers of our listeners and our own thoughts is that AI can be a tool. It can help to start something. It can help you to, I don't know, complement whatever you are doing. But it should always be your decision and your own thoughts and your critical thinking that is the main thing on your actions.
Yeah, you are making the decision by yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, it's for sure that always a little help is fine. And before you had to go to an encyclopedia and just look for pages and pages, and then you would find the thing you were looking for. Then we had to Google it, right? And we had to go to different windows to see where our answer was. And now we just ask something and it summarizes all the information there is in the internet and it gives it to us. So it's a very useful tool, but still, at least for myself, I try to keep it minimum and I try to use it as little as possible because I don't want my brain to get used to not reflecting and thinking.
Yeah, I agree 100% with what you said, and it is a very useful tool, very powerful, but it's good to always think that we are the smartest ones and we are gonna use it the way it will help us to be better or learn something or find something really quick. But we are the smartest ones. We are gonna use it in benefit for us.
Exactly. Nice. So thank you for listening to DDRN Presents Beneath Bias. We are looking forward to your feedback in social media. Let us know what you ask AI. So guys, if you liked us, please rate, review, and tell your friends about us. This has been Beneath Bias, unveiling one story at a time.